Good morning, Simon Trezellian here. This is the Lockdown Chronicles 3, and today I'm going to do a couple of videos because it seems that the whole crisis is moving along fairly at a rapid pace. So there's a lot of information I actually want to get to you, and therefore it's rather than just slow drip it through, day after day. I'm probably going to do a couple a day now. I woke up this morning deciding that I was going to do something slightly different to what I wanted to give you. I want to give you a whole bunch of practical stuff, but it's really important that you understand how to make decisions, because your decisions will determine your survivability in this situation. Okay, so I was looking at the concept of instinct versus intellect. So a lot of people at the present time, they're searching for information. They're trying to increase their intellect. They're trying to understand, quite how to do things, what to do, trying to get information in order to make better choices, as we were talking about yesterday. And that's all well and good. And it's good that people are taking notice. They're searching. They're doing their own independent research. They're not just relying on conspiracy theories and stuff from friends. But what I want to talk about today is your instinct. Now, recently I left California. I felt a burning need to leave California. Now, I actually had that before, just before the fires, and a lot of you will know I lost my house and pretty much everything I ever owned in the Malibu fires in November 18. I knew that something was happening, and I'd already arranged for me to leave the house on the 28th of November. Fortunately, the fires got there before me on the 11th. So I knew that something was happening, and I didn't listen to myself. And it's something that I'm going to have to live with really for the rest of my life. This time, I knew that something was going to be happening in California. I could see the writing on the wall. I didn't know what it was. I thought it might be just social meltdown, something political, economic. I could just see the writing on the wall, the rise in homelessness, the rise in crime. It was just a feeling, and it was such a feeling that I just had to just up sticks, and I left on the 1st of February. And I'm now in Arizona. And it was a really good idea, considering what has happened since that time. So I listened to my instinct as opposed to my intellect. Now, your instinct is something that is born with you. It's something that you immediately have. If you go to a young baby and you yell at it, it will immediately feel fear. Now, it doesn't know what that fear is. It just instinctively reacts. In the same way as if you push a baby over, it will try to stop itself from falling, even though it hasn't even understood the intellectual element of gravity yet. It understands. So something has been born within it. It's genetic. This is genetic wisdom that has been passed down through your forefathers and your ancestors as a species, not just as a nation or as a family unit. This is as a species that this information has been passed down to you. It's instinctual. It's the same way as animals have instincts. So this is something that you can absolutely trust. Now, conversely, your intellect is stuff that you've learned along the way this lifetime. Okay, using your brain, using your IQ to gather information, to rationalize that information based upon experience. That's what intellect is. But it's limited. It's limited to only your experience this time around. So trust your instincts. Now, within our brain itself, we have a thing called the reticular activation system, or the RAS. And what it does, it reviews and scans everything. It's like a radar. So basically what happens with that is that our intellect, our brain says, this is the reality. And then the RAS goes, okay, show me the money. Show me the evidence that this is the reality. And then it reviews and scans your information and your environment and the experience that you're having to see if that actually matches with the thoughts and the ideas that you actually have. And if it does, it becomes a truth. And if it isn't, it's a falsehood. It's as simple as that. So our reviewing and scanning helps both aspects of your instinct, and it helps aspects of your intellect. So when we're learning, we're using our RAS to actually gather information to try and back up the hypothesis of what you thought was true in the first place. Now, on a subliminal level, on a subconscious level, our RAS is moving and scanning 24/7. It's hearing things that the conscious mind doesn't necessarily register. It's hearing conversations of other people. It's listening to news reports. It could be listening to the radio. It's gathering information from the atmosphere. You know, all of this information is then collated by your mind and your brain to try and make sense out of it. And this is why sometimes your dreams are, you know, they're trying to compartmentalize all of this massive amounts of data. And we're talking billions and billions of bytes of data. Just so you understand how the brain works, interestingly enough, that just with our own lifestyle of what we actually do on a day-to-day basis, with everything we see, everything we touch, everything we taste, everything we hear, all of that information as bytes of information, if it was placed into a computer, it would actually fill up the biggest computer hard drive yet invented by man in about 4.5 minutes. That's how powerful our brain is. That's how powerful the structuring process of our mind is. And therefore, we've got to put it to use. And we've got to put it to use now. So relying on your intellect is not good enough. It's only going to give you several million bytes of information a second. Now that's a lot. That's a lot of information. But if you trust your instinct, if you trust your ability to make decisions based upon the subliminal, subconscious information, which is billions of bytes of information per second, you're dealing with a lot more of a database to be able to make decisions. So start to make decisions based upon instinct, what you feel, as opposed to what you think you know, because you're not that knowledgeable. You know, sorry to be disrespectful, but we're not that knowledgeable at all about what is going on. So therefore, we cannot rely on our intellect alone. We must rely on our instincts. It's our instincts that allow us to continue to create progeny, to create this species. We've had 2 million years of using our instinct to keep us safe through floods, through earthquakes, through droughts, through predators, through war, through pestilence. You know, we've got a great track record as human beings of actually being able to survive anything. And this is just a friggin' virus. We will survive this. But if we only work on what we think we know, we will fall short. You've got to instinctively do what you know inside is right for you and right for your family. So trust that. You know, once you actually do that, we will understand that we can actually tap into the wisdom of many, many lifetimes of all the people that have been before us, and not just the lifetime that we're living now. This is Simon Trezelyan, out to you.